I am Ejiro Umukoro. Everyone calls me Lady E. That's my brand. It's stuck with me over the years. I think it also comes from the fact that it's an ancestral royal name from my uh, maternal grandfather. So yes, that also explains why the title comes with it. I'm an investigative journalist, a media executive, a consultant, a mentor, trainer, navigated the spaces of using media in particular to generate and inspire political conversations in the non-traditional way, engage civic participation, increase civic intelligence within the spaces I occupy. And over the years, I've been privileged to serve in multiple capacities. So really, I'm a woman who has, I wear them very distinctively, even though I have to overrun them as concurrent.
All right, thank you so much for that, Lady E. Lady E. That is very important as a name to start with. It sounds very interesting in my ear. All right, Lady E, you're going to help me understand it because here in this podcast, we proud it a lot to know where we are coming from because we are interested in that. Okay, the reason behind it is that it's a podcast that is centered around African and African diaspora. And for the fact that a lot of people in the diaspora sometimes do not have a good track of where they are coming from, of course, you understand what I mean, maybe because of the slavery and all that, they don't really know exactly where they are coming from. So this deliberate attempt to talk about where we are coming from is an intentional choice of ours. So tell us a little bit of your history.
Okay. So I was born in Western Nigeria. More or less, I drank the first water from the Yoruba land. And so my first language, Ejo. Is that the only one you remember?
That's the only one.
I think I beg. So you know Ejo means I beg, right? So that's the So that's our English version of please as it is. Okay.
We believe that everyone has a story to share. We believe in the power of storytelling in today's digital economy. Yes, we believe that our audience need to be touched at the level of emotion so we can better engage. What about you? Do you believe in storytelling as much as we do? Do you want to reach the hearts and minds of your audience? Then join us in our online training class, Storytelling for Content Creators and Digital Entrepreneurs. Come to obehi1food.com/storytelling and learn how to leverage your storytelling skills so you can earn more as a content creator and digital entrepreneur. Storytelling is a powerful instrument at our disposal. Let's explore it together. See you in the class.
So that was my first language. That was the first water I drank, the first air I breathed in the international hospital then, where you had the missionaries who came to Nigeria at the time, and they were just caring for us. So when my mom even gave birth to me, because of my complexion, it was so like the missionaries. A lot of people did not feel my mom gave birth to me. In fact, the entire hospital went into bonkers. They were like, no, she couldn't have come up from this woman. And the reason was because my father was not present at the time my mother gave birth, right? So when he finally arrived and they saw him, people now calmed down a bit. They now looked at my face, looked at my dad's complexion, and they said, okay, he must be the dad. that can explain it. Because my ancestral mother was an extremely fair woman. She was almost described as white. In fact, she got the title Oyibo. And when they blended that name Oyibo with my other maternal grandfather's royal family, they gave me that title, Omoto Oyibo D. So that's where even the name Lady E came from. The title name Lady E actually comes from. So at the end of the day, my birth was a sensation. It was a sensation. And even just growing up in the spaces I grew up, my parents could not help themselves. Remember that by the time I was already 9 months, I'd already started walking. My teeth were complete, according to the story I was given. So it was more like I was a child in a hurry to be formed, to grow up, and to conquer. And I can see all of that energy in every single thing I have continuously done till date. In fact, many people describe me as someone who has energy. The first time I enter a place, when I choose not to be my other self, which is a very quiet, laid back, very shy sometimes person, although you would doubt that I can be shy, you would actually feel the energy when I step into a place. People say when you come into a place, you light up the place. And that's why even the name Light Ray, which is also a name I go by, also comes to the air.
That's fascinating. Your story is fascinating. I want us to talk a little bit about that. So first, you are from a royal family.
So here is this in the Isokorobo land from the Ozoro, I have the 6 ruling houses. My maternal great-grandfather, mother, right, was married to one of the royal houses. And when time came to be over the years, the story I gathered was my paternal grandfather was not interested in, that is great-grandfather, later on was not interested in being part of that royal dynasty and conversations. So that's my story, really. And that's the connection I have with the place as it is.
That's interesting. That's very interesting now. The story behind you is very powerful. But anyway, that one can be for another conversation. Now,
Yes.
tell me about your adolescence. So you grew up in this place now in Western Nigeria. What kind of Nigeria did you see ahead of you, and what kind of Nigeria was around you that you were living with at the time?
Oh, the Nigeria I grew up with, if I'm to go by the home I also grew up in, was a home where I was surrounded by books, music, lots and lots of trees, to a very large extent, except when you have to navigate to other spaces. That was in Nigeria. Even though the roads were untarred, they were not riddled with potholes as we see them today. I sand as grainy sand look like, And then I eventually, sometime later, we left that part of Nigeria, went to Lagos. Lagos became city. But the one thing about Lagos was the bustling speed, the hustle, the madness of trying to catch a cab or a bus or trying to meet up an appointment. I never liked it. Uh, I had the opportunity of growing up in 2 different kind of worlds. At the time, it was a life of wealth, of comfort, and enjoyment. And then at one point in time in our lives, it became a life of extreme poverty. So that was because when in 19, what year was this now? When there was this transition program in the late 80s to early 90s, it became apparent that many businesses at that time, there was a program, there was a law created at the time by the then ruling president. And all the middle class families who had businesses terribly affected by that singular law. So the businesses. My father happened to be among those who did. And from then on, it became a different story altogether. And I knew what it meant, what it feels like not to have food. I knew what it meant like to live in an environment where the roads became very bad due to autocratic government, due to bad leadership, due to disinterest by politicians in the lives of developing Nigeria as a country and uniting Nigeria as one. And that was why during the time Abiola became the first presidential candidate, that was not military in nature, it was a sign of relief for many persons. And we looked forward to the time when a technocrat, somebody who's an industrialist, because he was quite prominent in this era, would take over governance and know what it takes to rule the country. Unfortunately, that never happened. But growing up, mixing it all up. Later, things picked up in life, and then went to university, lived the life I wanted to live, stayed off campus, uh, and yeah, and finally graduated. And today I am living my dream.